I'm tired of the lies they spin. They're feeding us poison, where do I begin? Every headline feels like a sin. Oh, it's a game we're stuck in, can't win. Barack signed the papers, gave them the key. NDAA took our truth, can't you see? Smithman's shadow, it's haunting me. Propaganda flows like a dark raging sea. They twist the words, make us blind. Realities are lost in their cruel grind. Who's telling the truth? Man, it's hard to find. In this media maze, we're all confined. We're rising up, can't take no more. Truth on our lips, it's time to roar. No more shadows, we'll break free. With every heartbeat, we'll make them see. Together we'll stand united and bold. No more lies, let the story be told. In this fight for truth, we'll find our way. We'll light the dark, bring a brand new day. I'm screaming loud, but no one hears. Drowning in cycles of our own fears. The truth goes, shedding bitter tears. Oh, the anger rises, it's been years. So I'll sing my blues, let the world know. Fight for the truth, let the fire grow. We're breaking the chains, it's time to show. We won't be silenced, we'll steal the show. In the silence, hear the cries, voices echo, breaking tide. Every tear, story untold. In the ashes, we rise bold. No more whispers, we'll shout loud. Together strong, we're a fierce crowd. With every step, we take the stand, fighting for truth. Hand in hand, let the walls shake, let the truth ring. We'll write the lyrics, let freedom sing. From the shadows, we'll break away. In this moment, we'll seize the day. We're rising up, can't take no more. Truth on our lips, it's time to roar. No more shadows, we'll break free. With every heartbeat, we'll make them see. Together we'll stand, united and bold. No more lies, let the story be told. In this fight for truth, we'll find our way. We'll light the dark, bring a brand new day. I stood at the gates with nothing to bring. No medals to wear, no songs left to sing. No list of good deeds I could hold in my hand. Just a lifetime of trying to understand. St. Peter looked kindly and asked me why. I thought for a moment, then lifted my eyes. The man in the middle said I could come. The man in the middle said I belong. Not because I earned it, not because I won. The man in the middle said I could come. I remembered my failures, remembered my fears, the mistakes and regrets I carried for years. The times I stumbled, the times I fell, the prayers I whispered when life wasn't well. And then I remember the promise he made, and all of my worries just faded away. The man in the middle said I could come. The said I could come. The man in the middle said I belong. No crown of glory, no perfect song, just faith in the one who carried me along. The man in the middle said I could come. The man in the middle said I belong. No crown of glory, no perfect song, just faith in the one who carried me along. The man in the middle said I could come. The man in the middle said I belong. Not because I earned it, not because I won. The man in the middle said I could come. And if someday someone asks me, why are you here? I won't say, because I was good enough. I won't say, because I earned my place. I'll simply smile and say, the man in the middle said I could come.
Yeah. You don't get to look away anymore. Not after what we've seen. Not after what we know. Can't sugarcoat evil, I refuse to disguise. Truth hit different when you look in their eyes. Little shoes on the staircase cold. Teddy bear stories that were never told. Paper trails buried deep in the vault. Everyone pointing fingers, not my fault. Money moves quiet, power moves slick. Smiles on TV while the system's sick. High walls, black cars, tinted glass. Closed door meetings, let the scandals pass. You say conspiracy to silence the room, but the victims ain't theories, they carry the wounds. We were distracted, divided by noise, arguing headlines, girls and boys. Meanwhile, predators leverage position, protected by status, wealth and tradition. If justice blind, who tied the cloth? Who benefits most when the truth gets lost? If power's clean, then why the fear? When sealed up, pages start coming near.
Wake up, no more shadows, no more silence, no more halos. You can't hide behind the fame. If you fed the fire, you share the flame. Wake up, hear that sound, that's the truth. Breaking ground for every child who lost their life. We stand up, we fight tonight.
400,000 missing a year. Tell me why the number don't trigger fear. Why the outrage fade in a week? Why the strong stay silent when the small can't speak? Institutions polished in gold, preaching mercy but the record's cold. If you knew and turned away, silence made you complicit that day. Not left, not right, this ain't a side. Evil don't care about party lines. It's about power abused in dark, about stolen futures before they start. Ballrooms, back rooms, private flights, handshakes hidden from public sight. If your wealth was built on pain, history gon' carve your name. Truth don't die, it waits its turn. Every lie got a fuse that burns. When it sparks, don't act surprised. We warned you once, we're done being quiet.
Wake up, no more shadows, no more silence, no more halos. You can't hide behind the fame. If you fed the fire, you share the flame. Wake up, hear that cry, that's a child asking why. For every tear that fell unseen, we breaking chains, we intervene.
Don't call it hate when we call out wrong. Protecting children ain't extreme, it's strong. You uncomfortable, good, sit with it. Truth ain't gentle when it's explicit. If the stage was bright, but the deals were dark. If the laughter masked, A predator's maw. If you profited off the broken and small, the reckoning coming for one and all. No more heroes called from lies. No more idols we idolize. Character measured by what you defend, not the image you try to send. This ain't vengeance, this is guard duty. Standing 10 toes for human dignity. If you righteous, then stand with us. If you guilty, start feeling the rush because the tide turning. You feel that shift. No more shielding, the powerful click. Every child worth more than gold, and we the generation bold.
Hold the line, protect the young. No more deals behind closed doors done. If we the people, prove it now, not someday later, not somehow. Love ain't passive, faith ain't blind, justice required, it's a spine. Wake up, no more shadows, no more silence, no more halos. We see through the polished lies, truth reflected in our eyes. Wake up, hear that sound, that's the system shaking down. For every child who lost their life, we stand up, we fight tonight. We stand up, we stand up, we fight tonight. We stand up.
I used to sit beneath neon skies, build kingdoms in my mind at night. Talked real big to an empty room, like somehow dreams alone break through. I wanted gold without the grind, wanted peace without the time, wanted harvest from barren ground, but never stayed when the sun went down. And life whispered soft one day, boy, there's a price for every way. 'Cause the wanting dreams are smoke in the wind. They burn bright, but they never begin. Like castles made from restless air, gone the second reality's there. But real manifestation grows slow like seeds, buried deep where nobody sees. Through the rain, through the pain, through unseen needs. One's just fantasy, and one becomes destiny. Smoke or seed. I've seen men chase a hollow crown, lose their soul just to feel profound. Talk about changing all mankind while their own home falls behind. And I've seen old hands split rough pine, quiet strength in their weathered eyes. No applause and no grand parade, just faithful work every single day. And somewhere between faith and scars is where we truly become who we are. 'Cause the wanting dreams are smoke in the wind. They burn bright, but they never begin. Like shadows dancing on bedroom walls, beautiful, but they never stand tall. But real manifestation grows slow like seeds, roots digging deep through adversity, through the dark, through the way, through uncertainty. One fades helplessly, and one becomes reality. Smoke or seed. So if I dream, let it move my feet, and let conviction rise inside of me, and not escape becoming what I choose to be. And if heaven's listening tonight, don't give me comfort without the fight. Give me courage to endure the climb, and wisdom enough to recognize that wanting dreams are smoke in the wind, a temporary place to pretend, but real manifestation lives in scars, in calloused hands and faithful hearts. It's waking up when hope feels weak, still planting fields you may never see, believing light can still break free. That's the difference between fantasy and living what you're meant to be. Smoke or seed, yeah, the smoke drifts away in time. No time for rest, but the seed become the forest.
What's right now? Hey, 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 hey. What's right now? You walk in the room with a smile on your face, but your mind's racing all over the place. Got 1,000 things running through your head, and you know you ought to slow it down instead. Well, don't just grab the first jar you see. There's a little bit of science to the TAC. Take a minute, breathe, don't rush somehow. Ask yourself what's right now. Do you need to chill? Do you need some sleep? Do you need a relief that's nice and deep? Do you need a snack? Do you need a grin? Let's figure out where to begin. What's right now? What's your body say? Hey. Are you winding down at the end of the day? Hey. Northern Lights if you're ready for bed. Bubba Kush if your battery's dead. Dos when the aches hang around. Blue cheese if you're still moving around. Hey. Everybody's different somehow. So what's right now? Northern Lights says turn down the speed. Let your busy little brain be free. Tie an Afghani on a sleepy ride, like a warm blanket by your side. Then Bubba Kush walks through the door, says, buddy, you ain't working anymore. It's the melt into the couch parade. Cancel your chores that you already made. Need some comfort, need some peace. Need those busy thoughts to cease. Don't overthink, don't wear a frown. Listen when your body's talking now. What's right now? What's your body say? Are you winding down at the end of the day? Northern Lights if you're ready for bed. Bubba Kush if your battery's dead. Dos when the aches hang around. Blue cheese if you're still moving around. Hey, everybody's different somehow. So what's right now? Do says I got your back when your muscles start to crack. Blue cheese says grab a little bite, but still keep dancing through the night. Slow reaction, dry mouth too. Keep some water close to you if your heart starts racing fast. Take it easy, let it pass. Everybody's chemistry works a little differently. What's right now? Listen to yourself. Not every jar belongs on everybody's shelf. Some are sleepy, some are light, some are daytime, some are night. Take it slow and you'll find out how to choose what's right now. What's right now. Oh, what's right now. What's right now. Hey, everybody's different somehow. So, what's right now? Hey, ask your body what's right now. Hey.
Well, good morning. I hope everybody's having a good day. Yeah, I do. I want to explain myself real quick here because I want people to understand that there's a reason behind everything. There's a reason behind everything that I do. An Alpha Warrior this morning put up the following. He said, all the black pillars, panicans, and fake America great again mouthpieces told you Israel controlled Trump. They said Trump was captured. They said America was finished. They said the military was compromised. They said the MAGA was dead. They weren't warning you, they were programming you. Their mission was never true. Their mission was demoralization. Their assignment was to break your faith, fracture MAGA, isolate Trump, and make Americans turn on the only president with the will, the mandate, and the military backbone to dismantle the global deep state cabal. We told you the truth from day one. Learn to separate people from governments. Learn to separate nations from infiltrators. Learn to separate patriots from controlled opposition. Learn to separate real America First from the fake America First theater. The enemy was never one nation. The enemy was the transnational cabal operating inside all nations. They subvert governments. They capture institutions. They manipulate media. They weaponize intelligence. They hijack narratives. Then they say they're social media operatives, they send their social media operatives to convince you that Trump is the problem. Now they are in a panic. Every account that tried to make you turn on Trump has been exposed. Every panic merchant who told you to abandon the mission has been exposed. Every fake patriot who disguised deep state talking points as America First has been exposed. They thought they were shaping the battlefield. They were only revealing their positions. Some of you fell for it because you lost faith in the greatest country, the greatest president, and the greatest military force on earth. We never did. We always knew this would unfold, and we told you. So to the deep state operators, narrative handlers, and fake MAGA influencers, grifters, and fake America First frauds who spent months trying to fracture this movement, you failed. Trump still stands. America still stands. The military still stands. The mission still stands. And now everyone can see exactly who was fighting for America and humanity and who was running cover for the cabal. Do we have your attention now? Good, because the fog of war is lifting. The battlefield is clearing, and your information war just collapsed in front of the whole world. Well, after reading that this morning, I got to thinking. I hadn't had coffee yet. It was the first thing that I heard. And I was like, okay, this guy's got me thinking way too much, way too early, way too quick. I haven't had my caffeine. Yes, I'm sort of kind of bitch ranting right now. Okay, because you can't fucking do that. Okay, could you wait until after 9 o'clock, please? Okay, wait until after the first cup of coffee before you drop a big fucking truth like that and make me turn around and grab paper and start writing a fucking song. I'm just saying, Alpha Warrior, you are an inspiration. Semper Fi, by the way. And I tune in periodically. I don't get to listen to him all the time. A lot of times he's coming on doing late nights, and I unfortunately have to be up early in the morning, so I don't get that opportunity, and I try to catch up. So if you don't follow Alpha Warrior, I would absolutely recommend it. Okay, absolutely, because he makes a lot of good points. I mean, you're not going to agree with every single thing that he says, but he is 100% absolutely worth taking the time to listen to. Okay. So because of him, and it's his fault, you can't blame me. Okay. I refuse to accept responsibility for this. Okay. This is all his fault. Okay. So get mad at me for playing another song, but you're going to listen to it.
They said the fire was dying. They said the fight was through. They said the walls were closing in. There was nothing left to do. Every headline screaming, every voice demanding fear, trying to turn a nation against the things we hold dear. The truth ain't always shouting, and panic ain't a plan. You've got to learn to see the difference between a leader and a scam. Lift the fog, let the daylight shine. Don't surrender your heart or your mind. Stand your ground when the fear rolls in. Truth is where the fight begins. Don't let division steal your soul. Don't let the noise take control. America's story ain't over yet. We haven't reached the final chapter yet. Lift the fog. Lift the fog. Learn to see the difference between a flag and a lie, between a nation's people and the wolves that hide inside. Question every narrative, don't hand your voice away. Freedom isn't something you can put on pause someday. Don't trade faith for panic, don't trade hope for rage. History's always written by the ones who stay engaged. Lift the fog, let the daylight shine. Don't surrender your heart or your mind. Stand your ground when the fear rolls in. Truth is where the fight begins. Don't let division steal your soul. Don't let the noise take control. America's story ain't over yet. We haven't reached the final chapter yet. Oh, lift the fog. Lift the fog. No more fear merchants, no more endless doom, no more voices telling you America's our home. Stand together, stand awake, know the difference, know what's fake. Hold the line and keep your sight. Darkness always fears the light. Lift the fog, let the daylight rise. Keep the truth before The battle starts within, the future still being written out. We're the ones who hold the pen. Lift the flag. Lift the flag. Lift the flag. Lift the flag.
So that is dedicated to Alpha Warrior. All the hard work that him and the other guys that get together with him do, and I give him a lot of props. A lot of times you hear something right when you need to hear it. And that's important. That's extremely important. That we remember that. All right. I played this video here. I think I saw it. I'd say it was about 6 months ago. But I wanted to replay it, and I wanted to rehash what this guy has to say. Okay.
Good morning. Today I want to touch on a topic which politicians, grandparents, and parents are indoctrinating our communities and our kids with. And that is that white people are our enemy. They are not. Why I say this? Look around. White people don't come into our communities killing and raping our family members. It's our own skin color. Indian, black, and colored. White people don't come into our communities robbing us and intruding our houses and stealing us blind. It's our own skin color and our own race. White people don't come into our community selling drugs, turning our kids into gangsters, and our daughters into prostitutes. It's our own skin color. In fact, the ANC and these politicians like Malema and those guys wants us to believe by shouting, give back our land, that white people have the majority of the land. The ANC have done a study this year proving that they are wrong, because white people only own 21% of this country's land, and those are the people who have farms. But 60% of the land of South Africa is owned by blacks, and the other percentage, 19%, belongs to Indians and coloreds. Again, they are wrong, but they want us to believe that white people have the majority of the land. Yes, you will say now that, yes, it's because of whites that we are doing all these wrong things. Why blame other people for your mistakes? That white lady sitting next to your child in school is not the enemy. Who's playing sports with you is not your enemy. Your real enemy lives in your community with the same skin color. In fact, we, as colored Indians and blacks, go into white communities killing and raping and robbing them. They don't do it to us. So the real enemy stays and lives amongst us and have our own skin color. So stop believing what people preaching here, these politicians and your parents and grandparents, that white people is your enemy. Our own enemy is amongst us. And we are poor because some of us are too lazy to work and to go study. And we blame everybody else. Take your hand and put it in your own bosom and decide for yourself whether you want to stay poor or get out of that community, and educate yourself and find the right facts. Don't just go blind and follow blind people with a one mind trick, making us believe that we are separate and segregated by skin color. White people is not your enemy. Your real enemy is your own skin color and your own kind. That's all I want to say.
So the reason that I wanted to bring this up, now this was in regards to, white South Africans being killed. Okay. But this is the thing, is we are also seeing this same thing going on in the UK, going on in France, going on here in the United States and majority of the other countries. Okay. And the problem that I have is that we're all getting fatigued by this. Okay. And it's not one race so much as any other. Okay. We're just fatigued, period. We're tired of the division. We're tired of the bullshit. Okay. And the thing is, the title of today's show, The Fog of Political and Spiritual War. Can you see it clearly? Okay. And it's the idea that we get so wrapped up in everything that we neglect to look in our own house. You know, you can say something about your neighbor, but how does your house look? You can't help rebuild somebody else's house until you clean your own. So the one thing that happened immediately after this was posted was that Trump ended up having the representatives of South Africa were at the White House, and if you remember correctly, he said he talked about the white Christians being killed, and the guy was saying, "Oh, we stopped that, but they haven't." So Trump stopped all funding to them. All of the NGO money that was going over there has been halted. And although that is a good thing, at the same time, I'm looking at our own communities and I'm saying to myself, there should be something that we could do here to take care of our own house that needs to be rectified. Because when you're raised with a victim mentality, that's what you're going to stay your whole life, unless you decide that that's not how you're going to live. Just saying, there's something to it. There's absolutely something to it. What direction, do we take? Well, it's kind of hard to say because, we've got so many, discouraging narratives going on that you can't focus, and they just like, yeah, yep, just, yeah, it's kind of crazy. So last night, before Tulsi Gabbard disappeared from our storylines, she made a couple of big moves. Yeah, let me get down to it. I got everything all queued up. So if I can get Deadpool Snipes to stop telling everybody the news before I get to say the news, then I'll have something to report on. Because he keeps telling everybody what I'm going to talk about. And he doesn't know what I'm going to talk about. And then he talks about it. And then I don't get to talk about it because he talked about it. Just saying. Yeah, smoke some weed and focus. Exactly. So, this is where we're going to start. Her goodbye press statement. Here we go.
Before the COVID pandemic, Dr. Fauci, as head of the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases, provided millions in U.S. taxpayer dollars to fund dangerous gain-of-function research on bat coronaviruses at the Wuhan Institute of Virology, work which is now widely viewed as the source of the unintentional lab leak that sparked the pandemic. Now, in support of President Trump's maximum transparency mandate, today, on my final day as Director of National Intelligence, I'm releasing never-before-seen communications and documents that expose exactly how Fauci worked with politicized career leadership in the intelligence community to suppress the truth about his actions, the virus's lab leak origins, and his role in directing U.S. funding for this dangerous research that caused immeasurable harm and countless lost lives. Now, these documents expose Fauci's direct role in influencing and manipulating IC assessments on COVID-19 and how Fauci lied to Congress in 2024 when under oath he denied knowledge of or participation in discussions with intelligence officials about viral research. We also received testimony from multiple intelligence community whistleblowers who reported retaliation for challenging the intelligence community's manipulation of intelligence on the virus's origins, once again revealing a clear pattern of suppressing dissent, silencing critics, and burying the truth. Dr. Fauci's close relationships with the intelligence community enabled him to assume three key roles that shield him from scrutiny. First, Dr. Fauci funded dangerous gain-of-function coronavirus research linked to Big Pharma and their pursuit of universal vaccines worth trillions of dollars. Second, Dr. Fauci was the behind-the-scenes advisor who, alongside his hand-picked so-called experts, pushed the intelligence community to endorse a natural animal origin to hide his dangerous gain-of-function research that he funded using taxpayer dollars, all of this in a deliberate attempt to cover up the truth and shift the blame and attention away from Fauci's own actions. Third, Dr. Fauci became the nation's pandemic pundit, and he publicly pushed lies, disinformation, and censorship using every platform available. Now, according to hundreds of reviewed emails, which are included in this release, the intelligence community almost always incorporated Fauci's recommendations. He promoted a fraudulent paper whose publication he helped prompt as legitimate information for intelligence community consideration. Senior analysts praised Dr. Fauci not as a policymaker, but as what they called an unbiased guide to the real coronavirus experts, while deliberately ignoring experts who might dissent from Fauci's narratives. Now, Fauci didn't stop there. He blatantly lied to Congress under oath during his 2024 testimony to the House Select Subcommittee on the Coronavirus Pandemic, denying that he ever spoke to any intelligence agency about COVID. Now, the correspondence I'm releasing today directly contradicts his sworn testimony. Now, we received statements from multiple whistleblowers revealing that the intelligence analysts who dared to challenge Dr. Fauci's COVID origin conclusions faced threats of retaliation, marginalization, and many suffered career setbacks. For example, a contractor was terminated just days after coming forward to ODNI as a whistleblower. Another example, those who advocated for the lab leak hypothesis or expressed dissenting views were reminded by their managers that leadership would determine which analysts would be promoted and which would not. The message was clear: go along or be punished. Senior leaders also sought to undermine whistleblowers by removing anonymity, which is required in the whistleblower process, as they made their complaints, and also insisting that their managers or attorneys be present during ODNI meetings where these whistleblowers were coming forward with their testimony, obviously creating an atmosphere of intimidation. The COVID pandemic caused tremendous hardship and pain for millions of our fellow Americans and countless people around the world. Now, after years of lies and censorship and cover-ups, the American people deserve transparency, truth, and accountability. The tactics that were used to hide the truth are straight from the deep state playbook. Politicized self-serving leaders like Dr. Fauci covered up their own wrongdoing and abuses of power, manipulated intelligence, lied to Congress, and undermined a duly elected president by restricting his access to the vital facts he needed to keep the country safe. It's time you know the truth.
What a way to leave the DNI office. Okay. The files have been released. All 5 of them are there. You got the release index, part 1, part 2, part 3, and part 4. Okay. I'm going to drop that link into the chat. If I can get somebody to spread it around to the other platforms, that would be awesome. But this is stuff that people should look into. This kind of information can actually lead to a class action lawsuit, basically under the name of every single American, every business owner that lost their business because of the fact that they couldn't get customers, they couldn't get the materials and the ingredients that they needed in order to continue to allow their businesses to thrive. To every family who lost a loved one, to every soldier who was injected with that and has had nothing but serious issues. It's every American who has suffered because of this. The injuries, everything, all the way down the line. Accountability is coming. This is why I said before, you know, I know we want it all to go quick. We want this over with already, but this has got to be done by the book. Or else the only thing that we're doing is putting ourselves in a bad spot. Seriously, that's all we're doing. We're putting ourselves in a bad spot, and we don't need to be there. You know, so yeah, and yeah, it's there. You go. So Tulsi's closing act was to unveil Fauci. Now, we already know that Rand Paul and a few others have exposed a whole bunch of stuff in the hearings and everything else, but this goes into the conversations that Fauci was having with different organizations, different political figures, different pharmaceutical companies, everything all the way down the line. Okay. And yeah, I mean, this is crazy. Okay, now Bill Pulte is starting today. Okay, and I'm telling you, this is going to start moving even faster now. Okay, because she just came out 2 days ago and dropped the, what was the one she did 2 days ago was about the, it wasn't about Fauci, it was about, dang nabbit. See, now I got to go back to here and I got to look it up because I want to make sure I get the timeline right. Okay. So then the biolabs. Okay. So you got the biolabs and then you've got, you know, and that's worldwide. Okay. So that's 120 biolabs in over 30 countries, including Ukraine. Okay. And then the other one was, where is, the Security Act, the Symposium for Law Enforcement to ensure security for the 2026 thing. She did that one. And then she did the UAP declassifications along with the Department of War. So, you know, when I look at this, I have to say to myself, you know, there's a whole lot in her statement as to, you know, the direction that all of this is going to go. And yeah, well, we're going to see. Okay. So let's see. I'm not going to go with that one. Let's go. And I covered Pocahontas yesterday. Okay. So we're pretty much caught up. So Melissa Red Pill put this one up. Let's start here. I'm sorry. Rapid response. Donald Trump says there is no $300 billion payment to Iran by the U.S. That's fake news. All there is for the U.S. is success, lower oil prices, and victory. Check out the stock market. Democrat propaganda at play. President DJT. Okay. And again, I said this yesterday. Our clock, our stock market has never been as high as it is right now. The Dow is at a new record, and the Nasdaq is as well. And so, as those increase, and production of oil increases, then we're going to see a steady decline. And from what I understand from the girls who came out a couple of days ago, they said that gas was down like 30 cents, which is great. That means that my next, 30 cents a gallon. So to me, that's huge, because at one point I was almost at $7 a gallon. And now we're getting down to in the $4 range. And pretty soon it'll be in the $3 range. And if it's down to $2 a gallon by the end of the summer, that will be awesome. That would be, it would be life-changing, literally life-changing. Melissa Red Pill says JS equals John Solomon. It's time. So let's take a look at what she put together. So 2626, post number 2626. This is posted on 12/19/2018. So this is a delta. Okay. Let's see, NBCnews.com, internet Flynn hearing leaves far-right conspiracy theorists wanting. And it says, the clock is ticking. When will the first alarm ring? If the Senate was the primary target, majority control, 53 to 47 active when? Executive order designated targets. Active when? Ongoing investigations. There are a lot of sealed documents. SC. That would be Supreme Court. I think. I'm pretty sure it would be the Supreme Court. Better double check just to make sure I'm not seeing things. JS. I just want to double check this to make sure, because sometimes, you could think it's Jeff Sessions. Nope, it's John Solomon. Okay, so John Solomon. Where was I? I'm over here. Okay. All right. I was looking for SC. Why was I looking there? SC. I'm pretty sure it's Supreme Court. Oh, well, it could be Sarah Carter, investigative journalist, or the Supreme Court. So it could be one or the other. Okay. There are a lot of sealed documents or sealed indictments. It's all going to come out. Uranium One, the dossier, Clinton Foundation, etc. SH. SH is Sean Hannity. Okay, so Sessions is just Sessions. It's it. See, I needed to see that, so I could make sure that JS wasn't getting crossed over. All right. So, and then I have pretty good sources, says Sean Hannity. There is a reason why Sean Hannity, Sarah Carter, and John Solomon are on stage. Cue.
shows. I mentioned it on my podcast today. For the next couple of months, I'm working as an unpaid government employee to help the government identify documents that can be released to the public. It's your information, after all. Bureaucrats keep us from it. I have an opportunity to help the government identify some documents, some secrets, and things you should know about when it comes to weaponization, election integrity, other things. We're going to work on that. But during that time, I just want you to know, I've stepped aside as the editor-in-chief of Just the News. I still do my reporting. We're still going to do the amazing show here with Amanda. But I want everybody to know that I'm doing this. I'm unpaid. I don't take any money from the government. I think it's a good role for a journalist to play. Shows. I mentioned it on my podcast today. For the next couple of months.
So he's getting paid to go through all of these files and documents and everything that are being released. Okay. He's going to be someone that we're going to be wanting to pay close attention to here in the near future. Okay. So, all right. So we got the Tulsi Gabbard thing. She said, I just walked out of the ODNI government headquarters for the last time. Thank you, President Trump. I remain grateful for the profound honor of serving the American people and our nation as the Director of National Intelligence. And we wish you good luck, Tulsi, and well wishes for your husband as well, who is battling cancer right now. So you're in prayers. And may the armor of God for you be refreshed, and a whole lot more. All right. Now let's get here. Pete Hegseth, and this is directed at NATO.
The United States has defended Europe for generations. And for too long, NATO has been a paper tiger and a one-way street. It's not going to cut it anymore. And so we're doubling down on our effort to make NATO what it always was supposed to be, a balanced alliance with Europe in the lead for its own defense, NATO 3.0. I'm announcing today a 6-month Department of War review that will examine America's force posture and basing in Europe. It will be designed to ensure that NATO is moving fast and irreversibly toward Europe leading. Going forward, our annual NATO dues will be contingent on other countries meeting their defense spending targets. Where other allies do not spend with urgency, our dues contributions will go down. This is the right thing to do by the American people, and it's time.
Yep. He just told them flat out, either you're going to put up or you're going to shut up. One or the other. This shit's going to come to an end. Okay. So, a long time ago, I wrote a song called Don't Look Away. And the reason that I wrote that song was partially about what this young lady is going to talk about right now. The foster care system. What's been happening in the foster care system, the neglect that goes on in foster care system, and the reason why so many people get into it that are bad for the programs. Okay. This is Sean Ryan with a foster mom.
What's a D-rate kid? What does that mean? And she goes, oh, honey, I make $28,000 a month off foster care. You want to make sure they fail in school. If they fail in school and you can get them on medication, your rate goes up. Every time they don't pass a grade, your rate goes up because they're a more difficult kid. How many kids do you have? She said 86.
It's fucking horrific. People are fostering kids just for the money.
This is a demonic situation that exists because the church closed her doors. Here's how bad it can get in foster care just from an educational perspective. When I was adopting my boys, I was invited to speak at the National Foster Parents Association. It's this great organization. I love it. It's basically like, let's get a bunch of foster parents together, give them support, give them ongoing classes, and like be each other's support system. Because, I have military in my family. I'm not a military wife, but I always say, like, if you're a military spouse, I would hope you have other friends who are military spouses because only they can relate to you. Foster care is the same way. These kids have a lot of problems. They are not bad kids, but they have experienced severe trauma. Mm-hmm. So other people who are normal parents who have biological children who know their entire medical history and didn't do drugs while they were pregnant or drink alcohol while they were pregnant. Like, their parenting advice for you as a foster parent is like, that is so nice that you think that will work for this kid. It will not. So you have to know other foster parents if you're going to like survive this game, because it is so jacked. So I'm at the National Foster Parents Association. I'm like speaking, you know, they were like, could you come speak? And I was like, sure, I guess. And then they're like, hey, you have however many hours before we need you to come speak again. So here's our itinerary. You can basically like, here's your little badge. You can go into any class that you want to learn anything else you want to, like, you're curious, a subject. Like one time I went, there was like an FBI profiler and it was really cool. And they talk about like all these kind of things about how they do interviews. And as an actress, I'm like, I want to learn everything about that. Like, tell me about how you know if this person's a psychopath. That's so fascinating to me. So they have really cool like courses that you can take. Well, I'm getting ready to adopt my son, Caden. And I was like, oh my gosh, they have a class on adoption and the adoption assistance program. I had no idea that when you adopted out of foster care, you still get health insurance for that child, you still get therapy for that child, and you get your monthly stipend for that child. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh, I always figured that people didn't adopt the child out of foster care because they couldn't afford to. That was kind of always my myth and misconception I didn't know. So when I learned about there's an adoption assistance program, I was like, oh, cool. Like, well, teach me how to navigate that red tape, because foster care is like, I don't know, I'm biased, but I would wager it might be the most bureaucratic red tape system in the entire United States. So I'm like, cool, I want to go to that class. People sometimes assume that you would foster for the money. Once I became a foster parent, I was like, what money? Like, what are you talking about? This monthly stipend like doesn't cover the formula and diapers. Like, what are you talking about? There's no money in foster care. Like, you have 2 kids. Kids are expensive. I don't care if you don't even spoil them. Like, you feed them, you buy them clothes, you do anything kind of nice for them. It's a lot of money. Like, kids are expensive. So I was always like, what money are people talking about? So I go to this adoption assistant program. I'm like, wow, I had no idea that like you got all these services. Like, how do I sign up? I had no idea they still come with insurance. Like, this is fantastic. So I finished the class and I'm like, I want to meet every parent in this class. This is so cool. Like, I'm going to meet my new tribe of people that are adopting kids out of foster care. These people are awesome. I meet a couple new people. And then I meet this one woman and she's like, oh yeah, what you want to do is you want to get a D-rate kid. And I was like, that's what I said. I was like, what's a D-rate kid? What does that mean? And she goes, oh honey, I make $28,000 a month off foster care. And I was like, what? And she was like, yeah, because I have this many kids. And she goes, here's the thing. You want to get a D-rate kid. I was like, what is a D-rate kid? She goes, okay, here's how it works. You want to make sure they fail in school. If they fail in school and you can get them on medication, your rate goes up. Every time they don't pass a grade, your rate goes up because they're a more difficult kid. Every time they need a medication, your rate goes up.
Holy shit, dude.
And I was shocked. Like, I was like, oh my God, that's how bad people are making money out of foster care. And that's one of the reasons the statistics are so bad. Because again, I think the intentions were good. One of my kids, I love him so much, and he's a really sweet kid. But I'm finally to the point where I'm like, we got to get you medication. I've tried every therapy under the sun, and I love you, and I know that you know I love you, but like, I desperately need medication for you because I need your brain to slow down. Because when you make decisions that are not rash, because he's very reactive, if he slows down, he's not aggressive. Sweetest kid you've ever met. Everybody's favorite student. At home, it's a totally different situation because he's comfortable with us. Our rate will go up because now he needs medication. and he's really a good kid, but it's a lot to parent him. It's a lot harder than my other kids. And one of my other kids is adopted. I just say this to say that I think the intentions of increasing the rate was to incentivize good people to stick with it. But again, what it did is incentivize all the wrong people. People who are in it for the money instead of for the love of a child.
That's just making money off the government.
Yeah.
That's not even the real dark shit.
We haven't even gotten dark yet. I'm just saying.
It's fucking horrific.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah,
people are fostering kids just for the money from the government.
Mm-hmm.
So they're going to encourage the doctors to put them on medications. They're going to create scenarios to trick doctors to put them on medications. Yeah. They're going to encourage the kid to act out at school, to not study, it's like
incentivize the other way.
Yeah, exactly.
What if they get on honor roll? Give them a bonus.
It's like a demonic.
Listen, this is a nail on the head. This is a demonic situation that exists because the church closed her doors. And to be fair with that.
No, she's 100% right in that statement. Okay? She's 100% right in that statement because the church closed its doors. Okay? And I'm not just talking about the physical churches. I'm talking about the people themselves. People stopped caring about other people's kids. They stopped caring. Not my kid. Not my kid. Think about it. You know, you yourself are the church. And where two or more are gathered in his name, he will be there. Okay? But you yourself are the church. You're the living embodiment of the church. So not only were we not seeing the trafficking that was going on, but we weren't seeing the abuse factor of and the incentivification of organizations like CPS, the Department of Children and Youth Services, so on and so forth. All of them.
I know I could sit here for the rest of the interview and tell you organization after organization after organization that is Christian, that is doing the work. There are so many wonderful churches. There are so many wonderful Christian programs. There are so many wonderful Christians who are in this for the right reason, but there are still far too few.
Mm-hmm. I read a stat. I think it was in this outline. I think you said it. If every church in the country fostered one child, there would be none left to foster. Is that correct?
Yeah, and the statistic's even better than that. That's an accurate statistic.
One child per church.
Okay, that's an accurate statistic.
Think about
I talk a lot about training, nutrition, and mindset.
I'm sorry, Sean, I'm not going to play your commercial, but we appreciate the information and the fact that, you know, it leans towards the things that I've been talking to you about for years and growing up in that system, in what they were capable of doing, what they got away with, how the system was manipulated in ways for them to make bank. And the thing is that type of activity also encourages people to go against the system and intentionally predispose the education and behavioral issue problems of a child so that they could financially benefit from it. You know, it's a whole lot. I really want to play this song, but I think I would get in trouble. Okay. I'll keep watch. Let's see. It's 6 song for Keir Starmer.
This is a special song.
Can't play this. I'll get a copyright, and I don't want to get a copyright. It's a song for Keir Starmer. It's another version of Keir Starmer is a wanker, but it's a little more serious. And it was put out by a performer over there. I can't think of her name. Dang nabbit. Do they list her name? Yeah, so it's up on it's up on YouTube. The one and only Keir Starmer. I think this is it. Yeah, so it's up on YouTube, guys. So you can look up that title. All right. Was the one and only Keir Starmer. And take a listen to it. It's pretty good. We kind of feel that way about quite a few of our own people here right now. You know. So the Reckoning says one can ask the question, what did America get out of the MOU? As many people motive of understanding, as many people publicly are doing, and implying that we gave away everything and got nothing. But I think it's pretty hard not to see what Trump got out. All right, here we go.
What did America get out of Donald Trump's mission in Iran? Everything. The Reckoning, which is a fantastic account over on X, is asking the right question. One can ask the question, what did America get out of the Memorandum of Understanding? As many people publicly are doing and imply that we gave away everything and got nothing. But I think it's pretty hard not to see what Trump got out of the MOU. That's because he's probably read it. And the people who are arguing that we got nothing out of it either are lying to you, haven't read it, or don't understand it. So what did America get out of the Memorandum of Understanding? Got everything. The two things that we were seeking, the two things that would enable the expansion of the Abraham Accords so that we could turn over regional control of the Middle East to regional partnerships, the two things that are necessary to finally break the back of the globalist system. And he captured them both in the Memorandum of Understanding, number 9 and number 10. Number 9, the Islamic regime of Iran will maintain the current status quo of its nuclear program, which means it's destroyed and it will stay destroyed. And number 10, the crown jewel. What did America get out of the Memorandum of Understanding? The entire globalist system is now under our control, not theirs. This is the reason why we went into Iran right here, number 10, to extract the mechanism by which the globalist imperialist system uses their financial tools to steal wealth from sovereign nations through derivatives, associated services, including banking transactions, insurance contracts, and transportation. It used to be theirs, now it's ours. That's what we got out of it. They no longer have control over the flow of energy and can no longer impact the global economy the way that they've always used Iran and the Middle East as their sandbox to do that. What did the United States get out of this? An Iran who now appears to want to engage and participate with the regional partnerships that are being developed in the Middle East. And you now have the Iranian parliament speaker, the guy who signed the MOU with President Trump, saying that Iran must move from launchers to economic growth. Quote, we must take over the trench from the launcher boys, lift people out of economic pressure, and build the country. What did America get out of the MOU? A collapse of the globalist system.
Yep, and he's right. That's Patriot Dad EV 2.0. I think it's, yeah, he's still on 2.0.
What did America get?
He hasn't had to go 3.0 yet. So, all right. I thought that this was a really good question posed to JD Vance. I thought it was interesting.
I've heard you actually say that you think Israel and the United States have two different objectives as it relates to, I don't want to mischaracterize your words, but...
Well, what I'd say is that we're different countries with different interests. Yeah. I think in the United States, sometimes people characterize, Israel is a good partner to the United States. That is true. But sometimes people mischaracterize it and say that Israel and the United States are fundamentally always aligned. It's just not true. We're different countries. We have different needs. We have different geographies.
Do you trust them?
I don't trust anybody. When it comes to international affairs and diplomacy, do I think that they're very capable? Absolutely. Do I think that, again, when we have shared interests, we work together very well? Absolutely. But I don't trust anyone. And I think that we just have to continually be laser focused on what our interests are.
I've heard you actually say that you think.
So I thought that was interesting. Especially after everybody's been like, oh yeah, Trump sold us out to Israel and everything else. The fact that JD just kind of put it right out there. All right, here's Mike Lee.
Without fair, secure, reliable elections, our constitutional republic can't really thrive. The American people certainly can't thrive and aren't well served by a government in which honest, secure, fair elections are routinely observed. That requires us to have laws in place to protect them. Now, the states run the elections. It's typically up to the states to figure out the procedure by which they do that. But under Article 1 of the Constitution, the Congress also has the power to make or amend rules governing the conduct of federal elections. I feel really strongly about the Save America Act for this reason. There are unique vulnerabilities baked into the cake in existing election law, especially those governing federal elections. Some of this has to do with the 1993 statute called the National Voter Registration Act, also known as the Motor Voter Law, and the way it was interpreted a couple of decades later by the Supreme Court, wrongly but conclusively, as restricting somehow, prohibiting, in fact, the states from asking for any type of citizenship verification once someone has registered to vote using the federal NVRA form, which you typically fill out at a DMV. Those vulnerabilities are there, and they've gotten steadily more pronounced in recent years as we've had a flood of non-citizens pouring into our country. And as we've made it easier and easier for people to vote, often without any verification, not only as to citizenship, but on election day, with many states not requiring, in some cases, adamantly prohibiting any type of voter ID, photo ID at a polling location. I don't fight for every piece of legislation with the same degree of fervor or aggressiveness as I do the Save America Act. I'm not going to stop. And the reason I'm not going to stop is because there are some things that really matter this much. If we don't do this, if we don't do everything in our power to fix this now before this election, it could be too late and it could get more and more difficult to bring about these reforms. So for those who disagree with this, for those who don't share my enthusiasm for it, I respect your right to disagree. I'm going to keep advocating. I'm not going to stop. We need this legislation, and there is really one way to go about it. It involves putting it on the Senate floor, debating it, and announcing when we do that, we're going to continue to debate it for weeks if necessary until it passes. This is overwhelmingly supported by Americans, and I believe it'll get more popular, not less, as we do this and if we take steps toward doing it. We don't want to wait until after it's too late. The words "I'm sorry" won't carry much meaning at that point. So, look, if some people don't want and advocate for it, I'm sorry. I'm going to continue to advocate for things that I think are important. The Save America Act is one of those things, and I'm not stopping. In fact, I'm just getting started.
There you go. Yeah, just getting started. So Michelle Maxwell says, how come no one mentions this? The last line in this speech at the unveiling of the Statue of Liberty, October 28th, 1886. There is room in America and brotherhood for all who will support our institutions and aid in our development. But those who come to disturb our peace and dethrone our laws are aliens and enemies forever. Yeah. It's there. Yeah. So Eric W says, holy guacamole. So Philly DA Larry Krasner was just caught lying by the Pennsylvania Supreme Court. One day later, his senior attorney supervisor is suspended for 3 years. Why? They have a secret policy about trying to free everyone that got a death penalty and lied to the court. Oh boy, this is going to be interesting. I'm not going to go into reading this because it's too much. I don't want it right now. Yeah. So Tim Burchett put this out yesterday. It's time. And he has BlackBerry. Okay. Oops. And then February 15, 2018 was why is Big Pharma essential? Expand your thinking past cures. Think Google, new Pixel phone. Think Apple versus Samsung. Why was BlackBerry destroyed? BlackBerry. We can guide, but you must organically uncover the truth. They are watching. Archive everything offline. Why is everything really made in China? Cost savings. Why is POTUS focused on Saudi Arabia, China, and Russia? Why? Why is Russia being used against POTUS? Why Russia? What damage can Russia do to Dems? What damage can China do to Dems? Iran, North Korea? Why did Hussein travel before and after POTUS regarding foreign trips? Use logic. Why is POTUS focused on bringing back manufacturing, jobs, security, control? True control? Who can you trust? The world is not how you view it. Trust the plan. We are winning. Arrests will come. Logic should answer why it must follow other unfolding events. Learn and spread. Build proofs. We've provided many proofs that cannot be disputed as coincidences. This was done for a reason. More will be provided. Direct confirmation will come. It cannot come now. It will be lost. The message is not ready. You are part of the army. We are depending on you for God and country. Where we go one, we go all. Stay safe this week. Thank you. I think you're going to get this is okay. So now that the agreement is done, the IEAE now gets to go into Iran along with U.S. Nuclear scientists to recover and get samples of the dust, quote unquote dust. Okay. As soon as that comes back to the fact that that it came from the Uranium One project, that is going to be the beginning of the end for Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama. You bring them in under one litigation, and right now, if I'm not mistaken, Obama is supposed to be appearing in Florida for a grand jury hearing or something, or in response to one of the cabinet members being being charged down there. And this is the thing is, Obama has immunity until he tells a lie. As soon as he lies, that's it. The immunity is gone, and they can go after him. So this is going to be really, really interesting to see what direction this is going to go. So Shadow of Ezra put this one up this morning. Benjamin Netanyahu is now holding the world hostage and openly admits he will not comply with any peace deal, instead moving forward with his greater Israel agenda. Netanyahu says he wants to control all of Gaza and will continue the war in Lebanon. We do not leave as long as Israel's security arrangements are not in place. It's time for Benjamin Netanyahu to be arrested. See, is he speaking in English? I'm not going to play him because I don't want to listen to him. So, I'm not going to bother with that. Past here, Mike Steger.
Rule number 1 in geopolitics: it isn't what it seems. There's always a fight beyond the fight. Too often, people get caught in the weeds and miss the higher battlefield. Today, we're going to focus on regime change. But it's not about national governments. It's about the apparatus that controls governments. A regime that operates in the shadows, that seeks to control without being noticed. That's the regime President Trump is ending. And if we're successful, it's a regime change comparable to bringing down the Roman Empire. The effects will take decades, but today, we're already in the eye of the storm. The fight is ongoing. In this video, I'm going to break down how the Iran deal pisses off all the right people and what President Trump has already done in the Middle East that is missed by all the pundits. Because they don't want to see the shadow regime. They're paid not to, and so they miss the real goal. It's also true in Ukraine. This same shadow regime launched a coup in 2014 to drag Russia into confrontation. And now the entire European establishment is falling headlong into another world war. I'll show you where it comes from and how the G7 elites are hanging on by their fingernails as their old tactics no longer work. But the real fight is here at home. Secure the United States, and the shadow regime loses its host, like a tick on a deer. That's why regime change at the Fed is front and center. The Federal Reserve has been the basis for a system of taxation that's brought down empires older than Rome. Don't expect total victory right away, but watch the direction. It can move fast, and the media won't be covering it. Then I'll break down what a real national banking system is, because America's next 250 years depends on our vision of the future. I'm Mike Steger, and I've been fighting to revive the vision of America for 25 years. Nations perish without a vision. They go complacent, listless, and that's when the enemy invades. You could say it's time to remove the ticks and start to rebuild our nation. So if you want to help, sign up for our newsletter in the description, hit like and subscribe, and help us grow this channel to 50,000 strong. This fight is cultural. It's a battle for the minds of our people. So sign up and help us get the word out. If the Iran deal is pissing off Mark Levin and mocked by the New York Times, then something must be right. TDSers like Senator Jack Reed say the deal is just like Obama's. These are the same people who've practically been rooting for Iran since the attack. But the Obama deal never touched the one clear underlying problem, that the Iran regime has been outright anti-American for 47 years. That's why this regime was installed, to create a permanent war complex and drag the United States into a state of forever war. As Trump says, talking is easy. He'll talk to anyone. But the Ayatollah clearly thought differently. He would rather talk with Hamas than talk with the United States and Israel. Iran signed off on the October 7th attack because they have sought total war in the Middle East, not peace. Obama never confronted that posture. He funded the Islamic terrorists in Libya and Syria while doubling down on Bush's axis of evil rhetoric, a total failure on all levels. His deal was a fake deal, and that's why President Trump ended it on day one. And that's the point. Obama was funding total war in the region. This is the shadow regime's strategy. The whole concept of an axis of evil was a neocon construct to manufacture forever war. And as long as there's forever wars, America can never be great again. President Trump has thrown over that entire table. He's talked with Putin, Xi, and Kim Jong-un. The so-called axis of evil came down to Iran and its proxies. And that's what Obama funded. That's what created the October 7th attack. And that's what Trump's out to end. It's not just missiles, nuclear weapons, and proxies. That's downstream from a nation that was built on religious conflict. President Trump is now pulling Iran into the U.S.-based system, or letting them hang themselves in their own spite. His goal is to secure the dollar-based system, secure U.S. security and trade, and end the axis of evil construct that created perpetual war. That's how we make America great again, a period of peace to rebuild the nation. And this is exactly what Vice President J.D. Vance addressed Monday morning after the first digital signing. Quote, if you go back to the Obama administration, really over the entire 47 years, we've never had this level of direct connection, where the people at the highest levels of the United States government are now talking to the people at the highest levels of the Iranian government. And then he went on, we are now speaking directly to the Iranian system. We fundamentally have all the cards here. We don't have to give Iranians anything. If we just stopped here, their military is destroyed, the Strait of Hormuz is open, their nuclear program has been destroyed, and we have incredible economic leverage we didn't have a year and a half ago. And then he said, though, the option is clear. The president is also saying, we're extending an open hand. If you want to change your relationship with the United States, we'll change our relationship with Iran. That's the offer. And we'll have to see whether they meet us there. End quote. That's a complete change of dynamic, and it coincides with the diplomatic coup Trump pulled off across the entire region. Egypt, Turkey, Pakistan, Jordan, Iraq, and the Gulf monarchies, all of them are on board with the U.S.-based international system. All of them are now putting coherent pressure on Iran to integrate rather than stay a pariah. So what about Israel and Lebanon? In a press conference with the Emir of Qatar on Tuesday, Trump aired his frustration with Israel's bombing of Beirut. He said, quote, you don't have to knock down an apartment house every time you're looking for somebody. There are a lot of people in those apartment houses, and they're not all Hezbollah, I can tell you that. Then he said the president of Syria, backed by Erdogan of Turkey, should handle Hezbollah. That's a wild idea. Maybe it would work. It certainly makes Israel think twice about blowing up the deal. The last thing Israel wants is an expanded Turkey reviving the Ottoman Empire. But what's better for Israel? An expanded Abraham Accords and regional integration, or constant war? The answer is obvious, and it's why Trump went to war in the first place. The October 7th attack, run by Iran through Hamas, was meant to blow up Trump's Abraham Accords and the Saudi-Israel deal. Trump hasn't been trying to please the neocons. He's building an entirely new system, a system that's good for all the nations of the region and the world. Now, none of this assumes Iran will play nice, but this was no multilateral Obama appeasement deal brokered by do-nothing diplomats. Trump incentivized the entire region, 1, to support the United States. 2, he forced Iran into direct negotiations. And 3, he's moved to expand the Abraham Accords for Israel's long-term security. What he hasn't done is start another forever war or leave the region festering in perpetual religious animosity. He's built the basis for lasting peace within the U.S.-based international system. And as Trump told the New York Times on Sunday, the major powers, Russia and China, they didn't get in the way. They let him operate as he saw necessary. They let him close the strait, and they let him force a real negotiation. Trump wasn't coordinating with the impotent powers of Europe. He's working with the major powers. And by doing so, he's dismantling the axis of evil and bringing them, those major powers, into the U.S.-based system on our terms. Now, the ball is in Iran's court. As Vance said, they can join the U.S.-based system, or they can sit outside it while their nation suffers. The choice is theirs. But Trump is already moving on. The day Trump signed the Iran deal, on his 80th birthday, he also talked to Zelensky and Putin. He's pulling the whole system together. While the war in Ukraine was stalemating, he shifted focus to Iran. After addressing the Middle East crisis, he's back to solving the big one in Europe. And while Europe has only grown weaker in the meantime, he's gotten more momentum. Just last week, Zelensky flew to London and met with the so-called E3, Britain, France, and Germany. And then he had his sixth audience with King Charles. What is going on? The British Crown and these leaders have spent 4 years obsessed over war with Russia. And what came out of the summit? Just another joint statement calling essentially for more war. Realize that this is the same apparatus that gave us World War I and World War II, which nearly destroyed Western civilization. Outfits like the British Milner Group, which lie in the shadows but look to pull the strings. They prefer to operate behind the scenes, but their modus operandi has been to control the media, the academy, and the think tanks. And then from there, they think they can make any government do whatever they want. That's how they ran the coup in Kiev in 2014. But now they're operating in broad daylight because of total panic. The U.S. no longer supports their plans for world war. And Zelensky's problem is that his three greatest allies, the so-called E3, are in total collapse. They're lapdogs begging for a bone. 3 days after Zelensky got lap time with the king, the British government began its own form of controlled disintegration. The defense secretary and the armed forces minister both walked out of government on the same day. The reason was obvious. Their army is busted and broke, and the government doesn't have a dime to spare. And it's so bad, they just walked away. This is the same government, mind you, pushing for war with Russia. Prime Minister Keir Starmer is just weeks away from being replaced, and it isn't just London. In France, Macron is a stuffed doll, and Marine Le Pen's National Rally, now led by Jordan Bardella, is the most popular party in the country and the front runner for 2027. In Germany, the AfD has now passed Merz's CDU, the first time a new party has led in modern German history. These patriotic forces in France and Germany are more than ready to work with Russia and end the threat of war. And that's the point. While the shadow regime is governing for war at home and abroad, the people of Europe are voting for peace. Peace abroad and peace at home, to end the mass migration, the rape gangs, and the push to create ethnic war in Europe. And President Trump is squeezing this entire dynamic. For months, the European press has screamed that Russia is coming, that Putin won't stop at Ukraine, that Poland, the Baltics, and Germany are all next. This is the drumbeat behind every weapon shipment and every sanction. Mark Rutte, the head of NATO, said it last December. The dark forces of oppression are on the march again. We are Russia's next target. The head of Dutch military intelligence said it in April. Russia poses the greatest and most direct threat to peace and stability in Europe. There's just one problem. NATO's own commander says it's a lie. U.S. General Alexis Grinkovich, the Supreme Allied Commander Europe, the highest military officer in the alliance, said it in Berlin this month. Quote, I've watched the intelligence very closely. Russia is not looking for a conflict. It's a bombshell. This general has every piece of NATO intelligence, and he can say publicly that there's no invasion coming, that Russia is not looking for conflict. The European politicians are literally telling their citizens world war is inevitable because the threat is the last thing holding the shadow regime's EU-NATO complex together. Now put Trump's call with Putin on Sunday in this context. According to the Kremlin's own readout, Putin called to wish Trump a happy 80th birthday. They talked about the Iran deal and the war in Ukraine. Putin's aides reports that President Trump then referred to the alliance between the United States and Russia in the Second World War. And he said it simply cannot be forgotten. This is the last thing the shadow regime wants to hear. The establishment in London and Brussels have spent 35 years since the end of the Cold War making sure that the U.S.-Russia relationship is buried in a Cold War mentality. The problem is that relationship goes back 250 years when Russia supported the American Revolutionary War. And so a United States that starts working with Russia is clearly a United States they can't control. And that's exactly what President Trump is reviving. The American revolutionary reflex that these globalists just can't control. So while the regime pushes for another war to destroy Western civilization, an American general tells them it's all based on a lie. This is what we call globalist regime change. President Trump is creating a new era of peace abroad while bringing the war home to the very center of globalist control, the Federal Reserve. Just last year, President Trump's own Treasury Secretary named the disease. Scott Bessent wrote an op-ed in the Wall Street Journal titled, "The Fed's Gain of Function Monetary Policy." Translation, the Fed has gone from being a bad cold to a raging epidemic of chaos. He said the Fed's forecasts have been consistently wrong. that their models are broken and that the Fed must change course. He's not calling for a tweak. He's saying the whole institution requires regime change. And the man Trump picked to run the Fed isn't hiding that fact. Here's Kevin Warsh on CNBC earlier this year calling for regime change. Quote, "We need regime change in the conduct of policy. The credibility deficit lies with the incumbents that are at the Fed. And there's very real resistance. Jerome Powell took the unprecedented step and stayed on the Fed board even after being replaced as chair. This is an attempt to stop the regime change. Literally. The goal here is not chaos. That's what the enemy wants. The goal here is to wear them down, to confront the status quo, to expose the naked emperor, and begin to rebuild the institutions and our country. And that's happening. On June 5th, the jobs report came in hot. 172,000 new jobs in May.
I'm going to pause it here because I just want to note that I do not want to see any emperor naked. I'm just saying. I don't want to see any emperor naked. I don't. I don't. Yes, we can have a safety meeting. Absolutely.
Far past expectations. That's a good thing. And the numbers for March and April were revised upwards for an additional 90,000 jobs. Amazing. During the Iran conflict. This means Americans are working, factories are being constructed, tariffs are protecting investments, illegal immigrants are either leaving or being deported, and there's just no cheap labor replacements. The result? Wages for working class Americans are now rising. So how did Wall Street respond? Now, this is according to David Malpass, the former head of the World Bank, writing on Monday in the Wall Street Journal, of all places. He said, to paraphrase, that Wall Street said the Fed should now raise interest rates to cool inflation. Why? Because in the Fed's own models, real job growth means rising wages. And rising wages is clearly a red flag that inflation is out of control. You get it? When the stock market doubles, that's not inflation. That's wealth creation. But when working people all over the country get better wages, that's inflation. And that's built into the Fed? This is the whole shadow regime in a single rule. But now even a former head of the World Bank can see the need for regime change and is calling for it in the Wall Street Journal. Trump nailed it on Meet the Press on June 7th. He said, quote, "Growth is the greatest thing you can have, and growth does not cause inflation. We had great job numbers. We're building more factories. We have more money coming into our country than ever before. I don't want to just kill it with high interest rates." And the point is that this is what a real national banking system should be doing, creating real economic growth. Instead of making sure Wall Street's profits are maxed out, Hamilton's national bank stressed manufacturing, the creation of more entrepreneurs, and major infrastructure projects. That is, in sum, building the actual nation. The Fed's regional banks could easily be turned into a national banking system. Take the emphasis off Wall Street. Place the focus on main streets all over the country, from Buffalo to Spokane. Discount bank lending to local firms in critical industries and manufacturing, not discounting the loans on banks on Wall Street. It can be done. It was proposed in the Great Depression. This is what total regime change means, and the enemy knows that's where we're heading.
I would just like to let this perfectly be known, Debbie, that I did not put that image in your head. Okay? Nobody in this chat in any way, shape, or form put that image in your head. Okay? That is something you conjured all by yourself. Okay? We do not want to accept any responsibility for the thoughts going through your mind in seeing that scene. Okay, because she said, "Damn it, Hawk, now I'm picturing Putin naked on a horse and Zelensky naked in high heels." Okay, I'm just saying, I said I did not want to see no naked emperors. That's all I said. Okay, you had to go and really go out there, okay, and start picturing and imagining things And I've already seen Zelensky in heels. Okay, don't you watch Ukrainian TV? Okay, he used to wear heels. He did. It's a fact. There's pictures. There's videos. There's all kinds of stuff. So I don't. It is the furthest thing from my mind. Okay, I was like thinking of the Tubalard, like Kim Jong Un or the Chinese emperor there. Okay, but you had to go and you go to Russia, and then where do you go? You go to Zelensky of all things. Now Putin, I can sort of kind of understand. Women appreciate his what do you call that? The alpha character that he plays. Okay, but Zelensky, on the other hand, I got to get off this subject. Back to this.
Because the crux of real regime change from Iran, Ukraine, and the US is a question of who's in control. Who controls the direction of the nation? A bunch of global financial corporations who dictate terms via the Fed and central banks? Or is it the nation, its people, and its representatives to raise the power of its citizens so they can build a civilization? The historical moment we're in today is pretty clear, but it's not resolved. We'll either enter into a new era of global economic growth as Trump is initiating, driven by this spirit of 76, or nations will be pitted against nations by this shadow regime. Chaos will spread, and populations will increasingly fall prey to economic collapse, divisions, and war. This is the true role of the United States. No other nation is based on ending this kind of shadow regime. This is the spirit of 76, and that's the overview. Hit like, subscribe, and sign up for the newsletter. Help us get to 50,000 subs this summer. And thanks for watching.
Okay. See, it totally took Promethean action completely out of context there. 100%. And Mike Steger, I'm sorry. I'm sorry that she did that to you. I am so sorry. I'll try not to let my viewers say things like that again when you're playing, because that was wrong. That was wrong. We need to have a safety meeting just because of that. I'm just saying, just because of that. We gotta, yeah. I'm kind of taken back. Okay, I'm kind of taken back, and because of this safety meeting, I guess we should probably have a funny story for this during this safety meeting. Yeah, because funny stories are good too, right?
Well, life gets funny every now and then, and this here is one of them. Pull up a chair and have a little grin, 'cause this really did happen. I was driving through Oregon one sunny day, windows rolled down and feeling okay. I had my new old MMP card, and old Marine wasn't working too hard. A nice lady said, now remember this, one little thing folks often miss. The glass thing you carry ain't a pipe no more, there's a better name they're using for sure. She said, if a diabetic carries insulin around, nobody says a single thing in town. So your medicine needs a way to arrive to, and your delivery device can help you do. I chuckled and said, well, I'll be. That's mighty fancy talk to me. She smiled and said, one day you'll see. Just trust me.
Well, later that day, red lights flashed. I pulled right over, nothing crashed. A cop walked up with a friendly face, and we both handled it with grace. He looked in my console and pointed inside, then asked me something I still laugh about. He said, "Old man, has that pipe been used?" I said, "What pipe, sir? You seem confused." He looked at me, I looked at him. He looked at me, then I gave him a grin. "That ain't a pipe, sir. That's what they told me. It's a medicinal delivery device. Officially, if insulin's medicine, then mine can be too." He shook his head, and I smiled right through. He looked at me, I looked at him. He pointed again and said, "That thing right there." I said, "Sir, respectfully, that's not fair. There are no pipes riding around with me, just my delivery device officially." He stood there quiet for a second or two, like he was wondering what to do. Then all at once he started to grin, and that's when he said to me then, "Now every state has different laws, so know yours before your own. What works in Oregon may not work when you're headed back home. Use common sense wherever you go, and that's all you need to know." He looked at me, I looked at him, then we both had ourselves a grin. He said, "Old man, you can go today, but maybe put that thing away." Then he got back in his car, and I rolled on down the road. Sometimes life gets funny, and that's the way it goes. He looked at me, I looked at him, and we both left laughing again. And somewhere out there's a cop telling this story too. And somewhere else, there's an old Marine still driving through Oregon, keeping track of his medicinal delivery device.
Now, this is a true story. Okay, when I went and got my OMMP card, which is the Oregon Medical Marijuana Program card, the lady said to me, she says, "If you ever get pulled over and you have a pipe or a bong or anything like that in your car," she said you should transport it in your trunk, but in case it happens to be up in the belly of the car, to always remember never to call it by the street name that you go in and you ask for in a store. She says, always refer to it as your medicinal delivery device. And I was like, okay, it sort of kind of makes sense, but it doesn't. And she says, no, she said, if a diabetic can carry a syringe and insulin, then you, as a medical marijuana patient, need a delivery device for your medicine. And I was like, oh, I get it now. And I used it. I used that line twice. And I'm telling you, that cop down in Sheridan County, Oregon, probably tells that story because it was a great laugh for both of us. I had just drove out to, I was heading to Connecticut. My mom was in the process of passing, and I wanted to get there before, before she passed. And I was driving as fast as I could without going crazy. I was doing 85 in a 75 mile an hour speed zone, and it was 10 miles. It was definitely 10. I was definitely more than 10 miles over the speed limit. So, he had every right to get me. But Barron was in the back seat. My original Barron, he was in the back seat, stretched out, and and all friendly when the sheriff come up. And what's funny is Baron was a long-haired shepherd. So when he's laying on his side and he's got his harness on, the POL of police canine is covered. Okay. So it would say service canine or service dog. Okay. And the SER was covered. And I think that the cop thought that maybe I was a nice, that my dog was at least a nice dog, and he paid more attention to Baron than he did to me. But the look I got when I looked up at him and I said, I don't have a pipe, sir. And he's like, yes, you do. And I'm like, no, I don't. He reached across, he reached his arm through the window and he said, and I started to, kind of rear back a little bit. And he's like, no. He says, that right there, that is a pipe. And I said, no, sir, it is not. And he's like, I see it. I said, I don't know what you see. I said, are you talking about this? And I picked up my medicinal delivery device and said, my medicinal delivery device. And that's when I told him that insulin, it requires a syringe. And my medicine requires a delivery device. No different than that. And he busted up laughing. And he said, you're still getting a speeding ticket. And I said, I understand that I'm getting a speeding ticket, but I'm not getting a ticket for anything else. And he said, you're absolutely right about that. And what he did on the ticket was he put it down that I was going 78 in a 75. And it ended up getting tossed out, But it was the fact that, it was great interaction, It really was. It was kind of funny. It was a good thing I wasn't like trying to be a sovereign citizen or something like that, because honestly, I think if the guy was in a bad mood, I'd have got fucked up pretty good. So, I'm just saying, there's always there's always two sides to it, right? All right. Then so this is kind of interesting, all this information in regards to Lebanon, Israel, Iran, the combination, and then Qatar, and Trump spending the time with the Qatari leader really must have influenced the Qatari leader in a great way, because he got on the phone and combined with the current leader of the Iranian government, got Lebanon to kind of cease fire, temporarily until they can get things figured out, And I have to agree with what Mike Steger was saying, when it comes to, there comes a point where you have to let the country do the cleanup, and I think I said this on yesterday's podcast, that, what we need to do is we need to take a step back, where it comes to us dealing with the terroristic elements that are in there. We need to let those countries show the initiative and go in and get those people out themselves. That's, we really do, because for two reasons. It's going to do two things. Okay. Number one, it's going to show the people of Lebanon that the government that is governing them, okay, is responsible enough to take the initiative and clean up their cities. Stop this crap from going on. There's no reason for them to live like that. Okay. So if Lebanon gets involved and goes after these guys themselves, then that takes away a lot of risk and death to the public, the regular public, the citizens of Lebanon that belong there, because there are a lot of good people there. There's a lot of good people everywhere. Okay, it's the bad elements that need to be removed, and each country kind of needs to step up and do their job for their country. And the thing is if they really cared enough about their country, then they would be making moves like Donald Trump has been doing for the last, 19 months, 10, 20 months now, I think it is. I think it's 19 months, somewhere around there. It's I hope that makes sense to you guys. I really do. So I got time for just a couple more. And I am still taking donations towards pizza and garlic knots. And just so you know, garlic knots are not for me. The garlic knots are for the dogs, because giving them each one garlic knot, the way that I cook them, every 2 weeks, keeps them flea free. Yeah, it works good. But yeah, so that fund is still going. I'm not worried about anything else. It's a pizza and garlic day. If we meet our goal to be able to buy that. Congressman Randy Fine. Now, this guy, okay, I'm confused about this guy, okay, because I've heard a lot of things, in regards to him being a Jew and all this other crap and all that stuff. It's like what is confusing to me is the fact of what he's doing. And I think I mentioned this on a podcast a couple of podcasts ago, in regards to these politicians only want to do better for our country when it's election time, and until it's election time, right? The rest of the time, it is everything for everybody else and not getting any work done for us. But then in this clinch times, when they have an election coming up in just a couple of months, they are all gung-ho to, support America, but they're still not doing what the American people want. Okay, we've asked for the Save America Act. Okay, we want our elections locked down, incorruptible. We want politicians that are not corruptible. We want people who are making decisions for the best interest of Americans and not for the rest of the world. Okay. And maybe this is where my confusion comes in, is because I then see statements like this. Okay, here's from Randy Fine. Okay.
Well, think about it. He's called a dreamer. The left has said that American kids aren't dreamers. The entire title is insulting. It says if you're an illegal immigrant, you're a dreamer, but if you're some poor kid from Kentucky or wherever who's just trying to make ends meet, you don't have dreams. The entire focus of the left, their obsession and their fetish with illegals is disgusting. And now they almost killed a lot of people on Sunday, including me and my son. We got to deport them all. We have to have the courage to do it.
Oh, so there's another incentive. So you've got the election coming, and then you've got it being dropped that me and my son are under threat or in harm's way. You want to know what? You politicians have put Americans in harm's way. year after year after year. Our warriors are gone to fight in wars that are perpetrated by government year after year after year after year. You think about it like this: when Rome conquered all of Europe, okay, and other areas, okay, and the Middle East, okay, Rome conquered, okay. Was that continuous war? No, they went country hopping. They hit one country, got everybody to capitulate, got soldiers from that country to join in with their armies that were willing to capitulate. Those that weren't were killed, and then off they marched to the next country, and then the next country, and then the next country, and then the next country. Okay. But what we're seeing here is these politicians who basically have continuously put us in a position where they're forever wars. 5 years, that could be an acceptable term period for everything that's going on, within between the actual combat time and then the restructuring period. 5 years, okay? But we didn't even go that far with Iran, okay? We're talking this has been done in 4 months, right? If I'm not mistaken, it's been 4 months, okay? I mean, we did hit them last year, okay? But that was like a 2-day thing, okay? And then for like the last 4 months, right? So Trump has done in 4 months what Rome, well, he's done in a year and a couple of months what took Rome 75 to 100 years to do. I mean, think about it. I mean, seriously, think about it. Okay? And when I play this for you, you'll understand why I'm playing it. Okay? What he's done in this period of time goes beyond anything that Rome could ever, ever, ever achieve. Ronnie and I we used to talk a lot. We used to talk a whole lot. When I talked about the kids, told my story and, and all that, he listened, cared. And he encouraged me. Keep going forward. Keep doing new things. Keep telling the truth. Don't ever hold back. We've seen a lot of people come and go, haven't we, over these years? 10 years we've been together. Seen a lot. Some we lost because they fell back into the propaganda. Others we lost because of medical malpractice. We lost a view to self-deletion because the world was too much for them. You had to thrive for life. You had to thrive for truth. There was nothing that you could say that would change his mind about Donald Trump whatsoever. Nothing. I heard people try over and over and over again. And he kept it real. And he is missed tremendously. Tremendously. So where I want to leave you guys today is where we made a spot yesterday and took a couple of minutes to write something and put it into the machine and create a song. And people can celebrate their holidays any way they want, but I know where my mind will be and I know what I will be thinking of. So as we depart, I ask the question, what happens when we look the other way? And that's what I'm going to leave you with today. Yeah. Have a good day. Remember, God loves you, Jesus loves you, and I love you. And we will see you guys again tomorrow. And for those of you that donated towards my dinner, I appreciate you. Thank you. I will. We'll see if I can get enough together to do that. And other than that, I will see you guys again tomorrow.
Mother hangs another picture on a wall that's filled with pain. A father sits beside an empty chair and whispers out a name. neighbors saw the warning signs. A teacher felt concerned. But somewhere down the line we said, it's not my place to turn. What happens when we look the other way? Who pays the price we'd never have to pay? When silence fills the room, darkness finds a place to stay.
What happens when we say
Someone else will save the day? Another child keeps waiting.
another heart begins to break?
What happens when we look the other way? It isn't always evil shouting. Sometimes it's a whisper low. It hides inside the ordinary, where we rarely choose to go. It isn't fear that builds the walls. It's comfort and routine. The danger grows in quiet places, hidden somewhere in between. Yeah.
What happens when we look the other way?
Who pays the price we never have to pay? When silence fills the room, darkness finds a place to stay.
What happens when we say
Someone else will save the day? Another child keeps waiting.
another heart begins to break?
What happens when we look the other way? No, we can't fix every problem. We can't carry every load. But one more pair of open eyes can change somebody's road. One more share, one more phone call, one more person who will stand. Sometimes hope begins to grow inside an ordinary hand.
So what happens when we look the other way?
The answer's hard to face. The shadows grow a little stronger, and fear begins to take its place.
What happens when we choose to see?
When we refuse to walk away,
Maybe one more child comes home.
maybe one more life is saved. Maybe ordinary people become the light today. We don't have to become investigators. We don't have to become heroes. But we can become attentive. We can become courageous. We can become one more set of eyes. Because every day a child remains missing is a day they can never get back. So don't look away. Pay attention. And be the light somebody's waiting for. When mother hangs
Do you remember?
Woke up this morning to a world on fire. Everybody shouting, climbing walls of wire. Fear on the TV, lies across the screen. Hard to know these days what anything means. But I hear my Father's voice down in my soul. Stand up straight, don't let the darkness take control. Love your neighbor, hold the line, stay alive. Open up your eyes and let your spirit drive. Don't let the noise pull you under. Don't lose your heart in the thunder. Keep your head on a swivel, keep your eyes on the light. There's still love in the middle of the fight tonight. When the road gets narrow and the world feels cold, keep your heart wide open and never let go. Keep your head on a swivel, but your soul on the rise. There's a whole lot of beauty still left in these eyes. Yeah, the world may shake, but we're not gonna break. We were born for more than survival. Little old lady waving from a porch swing. Kids on the sidewalk still learning to dream. Somebody praying in the middle of pain. Somebody dancing in the pouring rain. There's still good people helping strangers stare. Still working hard with calloused hands. Still holding family, still holding faith. Still finding hope when it all feels late. Don't let the fear define you. There's still a fire inside you. Keep your head on a swivel, keep your eyes on the light. There's still love in the middle of the fight tonight. When the road gets narrow and the world feels cold, keep your heart wide open and never let go. Keep your head on a swivel, but your soul on the rise. There's a whole lot of beauty still left in these eyes. Yeah, the world may shake, but we're not gonna break. We were born for more than survival. Oh, don't forget who you are. You were made from the dust and the stars. Oh, even when shadows fall, love is still the strongest thing of all. Keep your head on a swivel, don't lose your grace. Every scar tells a story, every soul has a place. And if somebody stumbles, you help them stand tall. That's the kind of strength that can heal us all. Keep your head on a swivel, keep your faith alive. There's still hope for tomorrow as long as we try. Yeah, the world may change, but love remains, and that's how we survive. Keep your head on a swivel. Keep your heart full of love, full of love, full of I met an old man down in Tennessee. Coffee black as midnight, eyes like history. He slid a napkin across that withered bar. Said, boy, you ever wonder who we really are? He spoke of shadows moving behind the curtain. The world's so loud, nobody's certain. Said the truth don't scream, it waits in silence, buried beneath distraction, fear and violence. He said, every empire falls the very same. Greed gets baptized in a different name. And the jukebox stopped like heaven held its breath as he whispered low, sometimes the craziest story is the one closest to the truth. So we follow the drops through the dead of night, through broken headlines and flickering lights. Regular people trying to connect the lines while the this fight was really about. Mama used to tell me when I was young, the devil don't arrive with a forky tongue. No, he smiles on screens, dressed sharp and clean, selling fear between commercials and HD. And people laughed at the questions I asked, said truth seekers lived in the past. But history's written by trembling hands and buried by powerful, desperate men. The old man grinned through the smoke and flames, said, son, not everybody playing this game wears a badge or waves a flag. Some just pray this country survives what it had. And so we follow the drops through the dead of night, through coded words and satellite lights. Farmers, truckers, veterans, moms, trying to make sense of what the hell went wrong. And if all of it's true, Lord, ring the bell, 'cause we've been walking through the mouth of hell. But maybe the reason the darkness got loud is 'cause the truth's finally drawing a crowd. You can call them crazy, you can call them fools, but history's full of people marked right before the truth broke through. And maybe, just maybe, the real story of our time was never about left or right. Maybe it was about ordinary people refusing to stop asking questions. Yeah, we followed the drops through the cold unknown, while the lost and abandoned search for home. And maybe we were wrong, or maybe we could see that freedom dies slow when good men fear what truth might be. So light one